Alright, what's up guys? In just 8 months, one developer quietly built and shipped 28 mobile apps. It wasn't one breakout hit, not a unicorn, it was a portfolio. That portfolio now generates $10,000 per month while he still works a full-time job. And the most surprising part is for years before this, nothing he built worked. And the developer behind this is Max. He's an iOS engineer by trade, a father of 2, a husband, someone who had been building apps for nearly 8 years with very little to show for it financially. And like a lot of developers, he had a main app, his pet project. He poured time into it, tried different growth strategies, polished it endlessly, and it went nowhere. There was no traction, no meaningful revenue, and no signal that it was ever going to work. But then earlier this year, his entire approach changed. Instead of trying to build the perfect app, Max switched to building lots of small apps. And his goal was not perfection, guys. It wasn't long-term vision. It was speed, volume, and feedback. Ship it, move on, repeat. And these are the results after 8 months. After committing to this approach, he had 28 apps shipped, over 1,000 total subscribers, 4,000 to 5,000 daily active users across his whole portfolio, and $10,000 per month in revenue. And what's interesting is how uneven the results are. Only 4 apps do most of the work. Each of these bring in roughly $1,500 per month. The remaining apps make very little, and it's a textbook 80-20 outcome. Most apps fail quietly. A few float, those few carry the entire portfolio, and that's the whole point, guys. So this is how he chooses what to build before writing any code. Everything starts with search behavior. Max assumes that if someone has a real problem, they don't wait for an ad, they open the app store and search for a solution. So instead of brainstorming ideas in isolation, he works backwards from keywords. His process looks something like this. 1, pick a category or user group, research app store search terms using ASO tools. 2, look for keywords with at least 20% popularity, around 60 to 70% difficulty. And 3, check competitors' estimated revenue. And if the top apps in that keyword space aren't making at least $100 to $200 per month, he just skips it. So no revenue means no market. And he also clusters ideas. So for example, instead of building a study app, he'll look at math AI, physics AI, chemistry AI, which has the same audience but different keywords and multiple shots with minimal extra effort. And then once an idea passes his keyword and revenue checks, the build phase starts, and this is where the most people expect something complicated, but it really is not. So Max studies 2 or 3 competitors, but only for one thing, which is what is the single core feature tied to the keyword. Everything else is ignored and scrapped. No feature creep, no nice to haves. And from there, he uses AI to outline screen flows and logic, reuses existing UI components from different apps, recycles onboarding, paywalls, and settings, copies large chunks of code from previous apps, generates screenshots and icons from templates, and uses AI to draft app store descriptions tied to the keyword. Some apps take a few days and some take a week, but this one app from idea to app store submission took 2 hours, and it's absolutely insane. And once it's live, he lets it go and moves on to the next. And I think this is a good point because he doesn't babysit apps after launch. Each app gets a natural app store visibility boost, and over time that boost fades. Instead of trying to save every app, Max watches what happens. If downloads flatline, then you move on. If it stabilizes, then note it, and if it grows, revisit later. So only apps that show organic traction or retention get attention again. Those are the ones he polishes, those are the ones that get ads, and those are the ones that ultimately scale. Everything else stays exactly as it is. So the tech stack behind 28 apps, despite the scale, the setup is surprisingly lean. So he does Flutter for development, Fastlane for shipping, Firebase for auth, database and backend, AI models for image recognition and logic, Mixpanel for analytics, ASO tools for keyword research. Monthly costs stay extremely low relative to revenue. Most tools are either free or inexpensive, so infrastructure rarely exceeds free tiers. This isn't a heavy operation, guys. It's a repeatable, scalable system as a holding company. And this is the pattern that emerges. The biggest shift wasn't technical, it was psychological. Max stopped asking, is this app good enough? And started asking, is this app worth shipping? And by removing ego, perfectionism, and attachment, he built something more valuable than a single hit app. He built shipping momentum. And if there's one takeaway from this entire story, guys, it's pretty simple. Don't be afraid to ship. Don't wait for the killer feature. Don't over polish, and don't try to predict success. Ship something functional, let users react, move on while the data decides, because in a world where building is easier than ever with AI, speed of execution becomes the real advantage and moat. And after 28 attempts, 4 wins, and $10,000 per month, that advantage compounds. So I'll see you guys in the next video.